Okay, so it's the first time I've done this kind of a thing with a mic and this background and showing what I'm doing. Basically, I'm at the moment working on this tune, or I'm playing this tune, and really, what I want to demonstrate or get across today is how much you can do with how little, really. Because obviously you can see here, if I can remember my buttons. Yeah, there we go. So with this camera up here, I've got a lot of things right in front of me, okay? I mean, not that much compared to some people, but so for instance, I've got all this stuff here, but I'm not going to use this stuff here today, which is, sorry, I'm in the way, aren't I? So the Moogs, I'm not going to use this stuff today because, I mean, one of the things that I think a lot of people tend to do when they're thinking about, you know, it's like they want to perform more. Yeah, when I say perform, they'd like to do things in the moment more. Yeah, they'd like to be more dynamic in their music making, but I think they kind of think it has to be really, really complicated and thousands of different things, and right. So what I just played there literally used this, which is a drum machine. So it's a very simple drum machine, an Electron model cycles. I think it's about like $300 or something, and just a piano sound, a piano VST, with these two plugins. Where is it? Can't remember me buttons. There you go. Right. So basically, Megaverb. Hang on, I'm the wrong way around. So Megaverb over there. It's a bit weird for me because I'm pointing at a big green screen. Okay. So Megaverb over there and Supermassive over here. So literally, I've got a piano VST. So that's. This is why I don't understand the whole. Hang on. Shh, 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 shh. Calm down. Quieten down. Shh, hush now. The sort of the whole thing between hardware and software and all that. I mean, at the end of the day, aside from the DFAM in front of me, all of the hardware I have has software in it. Actually, does the? Yeah, I think even the subharmonicon does. So everything, all of the hardware that I have, bar the DFAM, has software in it. So what is this hardware thing? People going, right? It doesn't make sense. I mean, I kind of get it, but I kind of don't. So, but essentially, I'm just using one drum machine and a VST through a couple of plugins. Yeah, and I have got a compressor on it, which actually is on a setting I don't particularly like. But anyway, so I've got in fact, let's just turn off the compressor. Just turn it off. All right. That's better. Right. So I've got a piano VST and this Electron model cycles. And one of my big things with making the music that I'm making is how do I make almost everything an instrument? What do I mean by an instrument? What I mean is, I guess, a simple way of putting it, and hopefully I've set the mic so that if I move away, you can still hear me. If you can't, just let me know in the comments. And hey, Timothy, and hello, whoever else is here, say hello in the comments. So I don't feel like I'm just talking to myself. Brilliant. So how do I make everything an instrument? In other words, how do I make almost everything so I can play it? So I can actually perform it in the moment? Because what that does is it creates a situation where it's like you're actually making music. You're not designing music. You're I don't know. You're in the moment. Yeah. And I mean, everything that I another objection that comes up when people think about actually making music by more dynamically performing it is, well, I'm not as good a piano player as you, or I can't do this, or I can't do that, or I can't do the other. You might have noticed, maybe not, but you might have noticed what I just played there. At no point, I didn't play a chord. I think I played at some point maybe 2 notes at the same time. Yeah. But I mean, I can just play 1 note and still make something like 1 note at a time, which anyone can do as long as you've got some kind of appendage. Yeah, you can play 1 note at a time and still make something that. Hey, Rob. Oh, Patrick. Hello, Patrick. Hello, Robin. So yeah, I can play literally 1 note at a time. In fact, I'm going to do it now. I'll do a demonstration, 1 note at a time, and make something that it actually sounds like music, right? So this whole, I don't have the skill to play the keyboard. What are you talking about? You don't need the skill to play a keyboard. I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad thing to do. Again, right? I mean, obviously, I'm a musician. I've spent my whole life learning music, so I'm not anti learning instruments. But so many people put these obstacles in the way of what they could do with the technology. This is why technology is so amazing, and why I don't understand why people limit. Well, I do understand why people limit themselves. Limitations are good, but they put this arbitrary distinction between hardware and software, or I do this, or I'm a this guy, or I'm a that girl, or I'm a this person, or I'm a that person. When really what it is, well, what can you do with what you have? Yeah, or with what you can easily get. I mean, I don't know. Supermassive, this plugin is free on the Valhalla website. If you don't have it, get it immediately. It's just like, it's just awesome and it's free. Okay. So if you want a massive reverb that goes on forever, you don't need to buy anything. Yeah. This one, Megaverb, is, I don't know, is it $100? I don't know. It's something like that. But I mean, it's not cheap, but it's not going to, break the bank. If you've already got other stuff. Yeah. So it's not free, but it's absolutely great. The reason being mainly is that it's got a gate on it. Now you could set this up yourself with your own kind of gate. But let me show you. I'll just demonstrate what I'm talking about with this one finger thing. Okay. So let's just do this. Right. You see me moving things around here, right? So I've mapped some, not all, of these controls to this thing. I've actually got a MIDI fighter coming, a MIDI fighter twister coming, so I can actually map the whole thing. So let's just start like this. So at the moment, this is the gate over here, right? So I've got the sensitivity down to nothing. So I think, yeah, it's not there. There's nothing there. There's no reverb playing. Okay, if I go like, oh, that's the wrong one. If I go like this, where is it? There we go. Yeah. Oh, that's right. I've turned it down here. I've turned down the send. Turn up the send, Mike. Yeah, right. Yeah. All right, so there it is. Make sure to turn off the mic while I'm doing this. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play even more simply so that I can just reduce this objection. Yeah, because I've realised that I'm probably now going to be, oh yeah, but you're playing too many notes. All right, I'm just going to play literally as simply as possible and just perform this reverb. Okay. So you get the idea. Essentially, what I've done is I've routed the gate to on this Megaverb plugin to the model cycles. Okay, so basically, here we go, external sidechain, right? So if I play the model cycles right now, I'll turn it down a bit so it's not too loud. So if I sorry, but I got to. It's the first time I've done this, so I got to remember which speaker to put it on if I've got the mic on. All right, so I have got this, the sidechain. If I listen to what's coming out of here, right. So that's now playing through the plugin. So you're hearing what the trigger is of the sidechain of the Megaverb, right? Right, because if I remove this, it will go silent because I've got it turned down, the actual main thing turned down. So basically the signal from the model cycles is going to the Megaverb. And essentially I've mapped these controls, which mean that I can turn up the range, so it will turn it down more when the trigger comes, and also the sensitivity. So you can see that's the signal coming in. So when it's here, it's not doing very much. And then when I put it in here, it's really, really closing the gate. Okay, so let me just show you that. So there's nothing there, right? Because it's not opening the gate, yeah? Oh, sorry, wrong one. I've got to turn up the decay. Yeah, so I've got the decay on infinite, so it'll go on forever. So it's a little bit like a looper at the moment, this. So I can get chords going like. And there, we got trance. Yeah. I can even turn down the original signal of the piano if I want. And the other thing that's great about this Megaverb plugin is it's also got a distortion thing here. Now I haven't used I'm not using the digital one. I'm using the analog one. So hang on a minute, what have I done? It's weird. I seem to have done something which I don't know what I've done, which means that the gate is no longer working on. I know what I'll do. I'll reset it. There we go. Well, that's funny. I've been doing this for a while, and in all of that time, this has never happened, so I don't know what's going on. Well, I touched something, and it changed something, and I don't know what it's changed. Maybe it's in here. Okay. Oh, yeah, so Robin, I'm not even playing the defam. There's no defam whatsoever. It's just the electron model cycle. So the reverb is only on the piano. There's no reverb on anything other than the piano, which is going through the Megaverb. Yeah. And for some reason, I've got no idea why, but for some reason, the gate is no longer working. I can't see a gate signal come in. Maybe I've moved something out of here. Let's have a look on, yeah, here's how I've got it plugged in here. It's funny, isn't it? These things only ever happen when you're on live. Okay, so I know this looks very confusing, doesn't it? But it's not that confusing. Right, so here we go. Megaverb. There's the Megaverb, right? And I've got the side chain coming in, gate send. So what have I done? All right, so that's the, yeah. Maybe it's this. Ah, there you go. I know what I did. I know what it is. Right. I think I did this. There we go. Right, okay, so that's the other thing. Right, I'll show you actually. The other thing that I've done is I've mapped the actual gate send here to these things. So I can actually either have, because the model cycles only has 2 outs, left and right. Okay. So what you heard me doing in the little performance that I did, if you can call it that, before, was I had the hat and the bass thing on one side and the kick and the snare on the other. And the gate was only being triggered by the left-hand side. Okay, like that. Yeah, it was only be triggered by that side. And what I did was in the midst of the performance, because I couldn't remember that I'd actually mapped these these things, so I actually panned the hat over to the left-hand side, so it started triggering the gate, which is when you started hearing the juddery, right? So again, it's all about like limitations and what you can do, because there's only 2 outs of the model cycles, but that's actually quite cool in that you can. I mean, it just forces you to do certain things. Okay, but what I've forgotten was that I had actually mapped the gate to 2 different things, so I don't even need to pan things over. So let's just try that. I'll show you what I mean. Hang on. So let's open up the Megaverb again. All right. Make sure I'm in, yep. Right, so at the moment, nothing is triggering the gate. So this is just pure, in fact, let me just turn down the supermassive. So that's just pure Megaverb reverb on the piano, okay? Yeah. Now if I unmute, there you go. So now the kick and the snare is triggering the gate. And if I turn up the distortion, you'll really be able to hear it. The analog distortion. Right, now if I add the hat to it, hang on a minute. There we go. Can you hear that hat going? Triggering the gate. Yeah, and then if I mute that gate send, it just goes back to the kick and snare triggering it. If I mute the kick and the snare and leave just the hat, And then the other cool thing about the Megaverb is that it has an attack and a release on the gate, so you can turn it into reverb like that. Just normal reverb. If we bring in the hat, now the kick and the snare are just doing it. So there's all sorts of things you can do, right? Now, obviously, at the moment, that reverb signal is dry, which is where, so it's very, very gatey, yeah? Oh, hang on. So everything's really, really dry, even though that's a reverb because it's gated. And obviously I could increase the release of the hat to make it longer. Or that does weird things to it for some reason. If I want to add a bit of supermassive, you're instantly putting this thing into a space. And then dry. Right, now the kick and the kick is, I think, triggering it as well. Yeah, so I'd have to turn. There you go. And obviously, I've also mapped the supermassive stuff to make those. But I mean, you know, if you want to do a EDM type build up, well, just you got that, haven't you? I mean, I don't really use it for that, but you know. But can you see, like, with just one finger and getting your head around, and you know, who is that? It's, Timothy, yeah, saying it's complicated. It's actually, like, I mean, I know it seems complicated because it's the first time you're seeing it, but it's not. Basically, you've got, I'll show you. You've got this setting here and this setting here, and essentially it's just, you're basically setting that to a side chain from something else. I know this screen looks really, really scary, but this is my whole setup. This is my whole setup. Really what we're zeroing in on, I don't know if I can zoom in, I can't, but really what we're zooming in on is this plugin here and this plugin here. That's it, okay? Increase the release. I'm going to increase the release. So yeah, trying to stop this ridiculous. So that's the psst, is the supermassive going nuts. So basically, what I'm encouraging you to do. So at the moment, I literally haven't played another instrument other than the model cycles and a piano VST. Right now, so you don't have to use a piano. Obviously, you can use any sound that you want. One sound, one drum machine, and you've literally got infinite things. I mean, it is literally infinite what you can do if you bring into it the rhythm that you can play on the drum machine, the notes you can play with one finger, what you can do, like the textures that you can create with just those two reverbs together. Now, obviously, you don't have to use this specific combination of things, but when you start to think of your equipment as instruments, yeah, the like everything that you do is right. So how could I make this? How could I turn this into something that I could play? It does become infinite because you're not locked to a grid. You're not locked to a kind of preconceived notion of what a piece of music must be. I mean, I just was fiddling around there and made what could be described as a piece of music, just with a piano and a thing. Now, it might not have been a very good piece of music, but it was a piece of music, right? With just one sound and two reverbs. And I mean, I think, you know, and while that's not necessarily what you will end up doing for the whole of the time, I mean, certainly what I'm wanting to do, because I've got a whole other section of things over here, which is guitar pedals, but certainly with the with the plugins, what I'm looking to do is create my own kind of mega guitar pedal, where I map various different controls to MIDI controllers, and then can sort of perform. It's almost like you're making your own instrument. I mean, this feels to me, because I've been using this for a while now, the Supermassive and the Megaverb, this feels to me now, it's starting to feel like an instrument. Because I know what it does. I know the texture it creates when I do certain things, apart from when I make mistakes and forget what I've done. Right? I mean, you know, people talk about sound design all the time. And I guess that's what this is, but it's... It's really nice, actually. All right, so what and Robin, that's a good question. Is the transcendence idea coming as you move from a control gate to wide open? Yeah, I mean, you could say that could describe transcendence. I mean, that's something that you could. I mean, if by the way you're watching this, you're wondering why are we talking about transcendence? It's because of the previous live stream I did on the Make Music Live channel, where I was talking about my the authentic core experience that I'm trying to deliver, which is transcendence with the question mark. So yeah, you could say that transcendence could mean that. It doesn't. I mean, I don't. You know, every time I do that, I don't go transcendence. It's not as kind of. It's not as literal as that. But yeah, you could say that. That could be what it's expressing. Definitely. I mean, the vibe. The things that I've chosen and how I use them is definitely informed by this sort of transcendence with a question mark thing, because I guess the question mark is in things being kind of dark and weird sometimes. So when you bring the, you know, if I start like this, which is just the Megaverb reverb as a reverb. So with the notes I'm playing, you could say this is kind of a inspiring or And then I could say, if I start going, I mean, it started to get a bit question marky, right? Right. So yeah, I mean, in a sense, like everything that I'm doing is expressing that thing. Yeah. And that's what I mean by an overarching decision, like an authentic core experience, which allows you to make multiple other decisions. Right? Because I probably wouldn't have, it's what you use, how you put it together, and what you do with it once you put it together as well is all informed by this prior decision, which is what is my authentic core experience. Because I may well use different machines or use them differently or do different things with them. All of those things. Because the problem is, if you take the approach of tools first, right, well, I'm a modular person. I mean, not that people don't make great music with modular, who are modular people, and you can make that choice. I'm not saying don't make that choice. Like, I'm a guitar player. Of course, you can make that choice. But in the modern world, when you can do anything, or, for instance, Robin, I'm a looper. Yeah. And I'm not saying don't make that choice, but there's another choice to make. Because every looper is a looper. Yeah. Every modular person is a modular person. Every tech house artist is a tech house artist, right? What else? What makes you you? And my suggestion is that this authentic core experience, it informs what you do, how you do it, and what you do with what you do and how you do it. And that's why this kind of Megaverb supermassive combination really works for me. What I'm going to do now, just to finish this up, is, well, first of all, does anyone have any other questions about what I've kind of gone through today? So I'm going to do a few more of these after the workshop, the Make Music Your Life workshops, because I don't think doing this kind of thing is the right place. The Make Music Your Life isn't the right place for this kind of thing. But I do want to share, it's almost like in Make Music Your Life, I'm helping you make certain decisions. Yeah, we're helping you kind of make your music in terms of, right, you think about your music. And then over here on Zentor, I'm saying, right, here's how I'm doing it specifically. Yeah. Because I don't know, one of the problems that I have with a lot of training, with the music production industrial complex is it's so bloody prescriptive. or even if it isn't prescriptive, people take it as being prescriptive. And I think with those two different ways of looking at it, so it's like, this is how I've interpreted, for instance, an authentic core experience in how I've set something up. And also, specifically, we all love gear. We all love seeing what other people are doing. But if I can sort of share how I'm doing things over here, then that will also give you some sort of contexts and ideas. So I'm going to do more of these types of things, and I've got lots more to talk about. I've just focused on these two reverbs. What I am going to do over time, because this is the start of my. These two reverbs together on the piano is the start of my piano ultimate guitar pedal, like software guitar pedal. So I'm going to start connecting things together and map them to MIDI. So I create this sort of Uber instrument. And I'm going to add to it over time. So that's something I'm going to do. I've also got this whole other collection over here. Well, it's not that big, but a few. Let me just turn the mic. Can you see that? Where? Can you see? Oh, should I move this out of the way? I'm not used to doing this at all. So the stuff. Can you see it? Oh, hang on. Where are you? I'm confused. Oh yeah, okay. So over on this table over here, it's all very confusing doing it like this. Okay, yeah. Over here is some guitar pedal situation. So I've got a night sky. I haven't even turned that. I haven't even put the piano through that. It does actually go through that, but I haven't turned it on. So there's a night sky and a syntax error and a flashback delay over here. So I've actually got pedals going on as well. And that's a whole other can of worms, which I'll share how I'm thinking about that. And as you can see, there is also a looper here, which I've not gone into and which I will be using, although that's probably a little bit down the line. And then, of course, I've got all the Moogs. Tangled, Philip, are the graphics behind you digitally inserted rather than projected? Yes. These, so this is all green screen. So hang on, let me see if I can just turn off the green screen so you can see what I'm going to break down the fourth wall. Hang on. I'm all over, and forgive me for being all over the place with this. I'll get better at this as I. Here we go. So this is what it actually looks like. Okay. And then if I turn off the gear cam, I've got that on a screen share. So I've got another, basically I've got a projector on the back wall, which is showing my other screen, and what you see behind you is what's on that screen at the moment. All right, so I can move this plugin off. Yeah. So I have thought about using actual live, actual projector, but projectors are really expensive. So I'm just doing it this way at the moment. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to finish this up with just a little performance of the stuff that I've done. God knows what's going to end up sounding like. But yeah, subscribe, like, remind. I don't think there's anything to remind, but anyway, yeah, and I will see you again soon. So I'm just going to play something now. Make sure I mute the mic. Turn it on the big speakers. And okay, in a future Hangout, I'd like to peek into how you do those cool evolving rhythms in Zentor. I don't actually know how. Yeah, I'll have to find out exactly what you mean by that. But they sound good, I guess, although I don't know what they are. Probably something to do with the Moogs, I would think. Anyway, I'm going to play now and stop talking, which I find very difficult, as you might have noticed. And let's do this.